Good morning. This is Kent Blaylock with SDG Bible Study. That's the Soli Deo Gloria Bible Study coming to you on this Thursday morning, August the 6th, 2026. I hope everyone is doing well and are ready for the reading of God's Word this morning as we continue reading from the reading plan as it happened. A one-year chronological walk through the Bible and also reading from Daily Doctrine, a one-year guide to systematic theology. This morning, we're going to be in the book of Jeremiah, chapters 1, 2, and 3. So join me as we read God's word together. Jeremiah, chapter 1. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests who were in Anatoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahweh came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. And it came in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the exile of Jerusalem in the 5th month. Now the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Before I formed you in the innermost parts, I knew you, and before you came out from the womb, I set you apart. I have given you as a prophet to the nations. Then I said, Alas, Lord Yahweh, behold, I do not know how to speak, because I am a youth. But Yahweh said to me, Do not say, I am a youth, because everywhere I send you, you shall go, and all that I command you, you shall speak. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you to deliver you, declares Yahweh. Then Yahweh sent forth his hand and touched my mouth, and Yahweh said to me, Behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, I have appointed you this day over the nations and over the kingdoms, to uproot and to tear down, to cause to perish and to pull down, to build and to plant. Now the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, What do you see, Jeremiah? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Then Yahweh said to me, You have seen well, for I am watching over my word to do it. The word of Yahweh came to me a second time, saying, What do you see? And I said, I see a boiling pot facing away from the north. Then Yahweh said to me, From the north the evil will break open on all the inhabitants of the land. For behold, I am calling all the families of the kingdoms of the north, declares Yahweh, and they will come, and each one of them will put his throne at the opening of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all its walls round about, and against all the cities of Judah. I will speak my judgments on them concerning all their evil, whereby they have forsaken me and have burned incense to other gods and worshiped the works of their own hands. Now gird up your loins and arise and speak to them all which I command you. Do not be dismayed before them, lest I dismay you before them. Now behold, I have given you today as a fortified city, and as a pillar of iron, and as walls of bronze against the whole land to the kings of Judah, to its princes, to its priests, and to the people of the land. And they will fight against you, but they will not overcome you, for I am with you to deliver you, declares Yahweh. Jeremiah chapter 2. Now the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Go and call out in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Yahweh, I remember concerning you the loving kindness of your youth, the love of your betrothals, your walking after me in the wilderness, through a land not sown. Israel was holy to Yahweh, the first of his produce. All who ate of it became guilty. Evil came upon them, declares Yahweh. Hear the word of Yahweh, O host of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus says Yahweh, What injustice did your fathers find in me, that they went far from me, and walked after vanity, and became vain? They did not say, Where is Yahweh, who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, who led us through the wilderness, a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no one crossed, and where no man inhabited? I brought you into the fruitful land to eat its fruit and its good things, but you came and defiled my land, and my inheritance you made an abomination. The priests did not say, Where is Yahweh? And those who handle the law did not know me. The shepherds also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal and walked after things that did not profit. Therefore I will yet contend with you, declares Yahweh, and with your sons' sons I will contend. For cross to the coastlands of Kittim and see, and send to Kedar, and perceive closely, and see if there has been such a thing as this. Has a nation changed gods, though they were not gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit. Be appalled, O heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be very devastated, declares Yahweh. For my people have done two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, to hew for themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Is Israel a slave, or is he a homeborn slave? Why has he become plunder? The young lions have roared at him. They have given forth their voice, and they have made his land a desolation. His cities have been turned into ruin without inhabitant. Also, the men of Memphis and Taphanes have shaved the top of your head. Have you not done this to yourself by your forsaking Yahweh your God when he led you in the way? But now, what are you doing on the road to Egypt to drink the waters of the Nile? Or what are you doing on the road to Assyria to drink the waters of the river? Your own evil will chastise you, and your acts of faithlessness will reprove you. Know therefore and see that it is evil and bitter for you to forsake Yahweh your God, and the dread of me is not in you, declares Yahweh of hosts. For long ago I broke your yoke and tore off your bonds, but you said, I will not serve. For on every high hill and under every green tree you have lain down as a harlot. Yet I planted you a choice vine, a completely true seed. How then have you turned yourself before me into the degenerate shoots of a foreign vine? Although you wash yourself with lye and use much soap, the stain of your iniquity is before me, declares Lord Yahweh. How can you say, I am not defiled? I have not walked after the Baals. Look at your way in the valley. Know what you have done. You are a swift young camel entangling her ways. A wild donkey accustomed to the wilderness that sniffs the wind in her passion. In the time of her heat, who can turn her away? All who seek her will not become weary. In her month, they will find her. Keep your feet from being barefoot and your throat from thirst. But you said, it is hopeless. No, for I have loved strangers, and after them I walk. As the thief is shamed when he is found, so the house of Israel is shamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests and their prophets, who say to a tree, you are my father, and to a stone, you gave me birth. For they have turned their back to me and not their face. But in the time when their evil comes, they will say, arise and save us. But where are your gods which you made for yourself? Let them arise if they can save you in the time when your evil comes. For according to the number of your cities are your gods, O Judah. Why do you contend with me? You have all transgressed against me, declares Yahweh. In vain I have struck your sons. They receive no discipline. Your sword has devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. O generation, behold the word of Yahweh. Have I been a wilderness to Israel, or a land of thick darkness? Why do my people say, we are free to roam, we will no longer come to you? Can a virgin forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number. How well you prepare your way to seek love. Therefore, even the wicked woman you have taught your ways. Also on your skirts is found the lifeblood of the innocent needy. You did not find them breaking in, but in spite of all these things, yet you said, I am innocent. Surely his anger is turned away from me. Behold, I will enter into judgment with you because you say, I have not sinned. Why do you despise him so much in changing your way? Also, you will be put to shame by Egypt as you were put to shame by Assyria. From this place also you will go out with your hands on your head. For Yahweh has rejected those in whom you trust, and you will not succeed with them. Jeremiah chapter 3. God says, if a husband divorces his wife and she goes from him and belongs to another man, will he still return to her? Will not that land be completely polluted? But you are a harlot with many lovers, yet you turn to me, declares Yahweh. Lift up your eyes to the bare heights and see, where have you not been ravished? By the roads you have sat for them, like an Arab in the wilderness, and you have polluted a land with your harlotry and with your evil. Therefore the showers have been withheld, and the late rain has not come. Yet you had a harlot's forehead, you refused to feel dishonor. Have you not just now called to me, my father? You are the close companion of my youth. Will he be angry forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, you have spoken and have done evil things, and you have had your way. Then Yahweh said to me in the days of Josiah the king, have you seen what faithless Israel did? She went up on every high hill and under every green tree, and she was a harlot there. I said, after she has done all these things, she will return to me. But she did not return, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. And I saw that for all the adulteries of faithless Israel, I had sent her away and given her a certificate of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah did not fear, but she went and was a harlot also. So it was because of the likeness of her harlotry that she polluted the land and committed adultery with the stones and trees. Yet in spite of all this, her treacherous sister Judah did not return to me with all her heart, but rather in lying, declares Yahweh. And Yahweh said to me, faithless Israel has proved herself more righteous than treacherous Judah. Go and call out these words toward the north and say, return, faithless Israel, declares Yahweh. I will not look upon you in anger, for I am one of loving kindness, declares Yahweh. I will not be angry forever. Only acknowledge your iniquity, that you have transgressed against Yahweh your God, and have scattered your ways of harlotry to the strangers under every green tree, and you have not listened to my voice, declares Yahweh. Return, O faithless sons, declares Yahweh, for I am a master to you, and I will take you one from a city and two from a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Then I will give you shepherds after my own heart, who will shepherd you on knowledge and understanding. It shall be in those days when you are multiplied and fruitful in the land, declares Yahweh, they will no longer say the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, and it will not come upon the heart, nor will they remember it, nor will they miss it, nor will it be made again. At that time they will call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh, and all the nations will be gathered to Jerusalem for the name of Yahweh. Nor will they walk any more after the stubbornness of their evil heart. In those days the house of Judah will walk with the house of Israel, and they will come together from the land of the north to the land that I gave your fathers as an inheritance. Then I said, how I would set you among my sons and give you a pleasant land, the most beautiful inheritance of the nations. And I said, you shall call me my father, and not turn away from following me. Surely, as a woman treacherously departs from her lover, so you have dealt treacherously with me, O house of Israel, declares Yahweh. A voice is heard on the bare heights, the weeping and the supplications of the sons of Israel, because they have perverted their way. They have forgotten Yahweh, their God. Return, O faithless sons, I will heal your faithlessness. Behold, we come to you, for you are Yahweh, our God. Surely the hills are a lie, a tumult on the mountains. Surely is Yahweh, our God, is the salvation of Israel. But the shameful thing has devoured the labor of our fathers since our youth, their flocks and their herds, their sons and their daughters. Let us lie down in our shame, and let our dishonor cover us. For we have sinned against Yahweh our God, we and our fathers, from our youth even to this day, and we have not listened to the voice of Yahweh our God. That's going to conclude our reading from the biblical text this morning. Now we'll read from Daily Doctrine. Day 218, Baptism. When Christ commanded the 11 disciples to baptize in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, Matthew 28, chapter 19, He was not only instructing them in the Great Commission, he was instructing them in the nature of baptism. Baptism is a sign of initiation, part of what it means to be a disciple of Christ. That baptism is administered in the triune name signifies identity and inclusion. Baptism names us as belonging to God, as having a relation to Him and being in relationship with Him. If union with God is key to proper understanding of baptism, then the other foundational element is the washing of sin. This makes sense given the role water plays in the rite. Baptism symbolizes spiritual cleansing and purification. Baptism is tied to the forgiveness of sin, Acts chapter 2, verse 38, and the washing away of sins, Acts chapter 22, verse 16. Whether a reference to baptism or not, the Christian's life is often described as having been washed. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 11, Hebrews chapter 10, verse 22. Elsewhere, baptism is explicitly called the washing of regeneration and renewal, Titus chapter 3, verse 5. Baptism saves us not by removing physical dirt, but as an appeal to God for a good conscience through the resurrection of Jesus Christ, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 21. Baptism is a sign and seal of the forgiveness of sin. While the meaning of baptism is mainly positive, there is also an element of warning in the symbolism of water. The water that saves the righteous is also the water that overwhelms the wicked. Noah and his family were brought safely through the water, while the rest of the world perished in the flood. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 20, and 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. When the spiritual import is ignored, rejected, or despised, the blessing can turn to cursing, just as things will turn out worse for those who profane the blood of the covenant. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 29. The Old Testament practice of circumcision helps illumine the meaning of the New Testament practice of baptism. Although there is certainly discontinuity as we move from the shadows of the Old Testament to the substance of the New, the sacramental symbolism in both Testaments is largely the same. This is why circumcision and Passover can be ascribed to the New Testament church. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7, and Colossians chapter 2, verse 11, and baptism and the Lord's Supper can be ascribed to the Old Testament church. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 1 through 4. Just as circumcision pointed positively to forgiveness and renewal and cutting away of the flesh, and negatively to the punishment of being cut off, so baptism signifies the same two realities. In the minor key, there is a threat of judgment. In the major key, baptism, like circumcision, is a sign and seal of the righteousness that comes by faith. Romans chapter 4, verse 11. And that's going to conclude our reading from the biblical text and Daily Doctrine this morning. As we started in the book of Jeremiah this morning, we see Jeremiah delivering the words of God to the people of Judah and Israel. And it's a sad message. And it is Israel and Judah's following false gods, what God calls spiritual harlotry. And it's sad to see. And then we spoke of baptism this morning and what it signifies in the life of the believer. Hope you've enjoyed this morning's reading and hope you give God glory in it. Soli Deo Gloria.